Well, thank you, Laura, for having me on. First of all, we build more vehicles in the U.S. than any other brand. We export more and we have more factory workers. So we never left the U.S. And our plan is really simple, to offer employee pricing, basically the price I pay or anyone at the company pays for all Americans.
Are you confident at this point saying that there's not going to be any price increases coming from Ford trucks or cars this summer?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm not going to be specific about our pricing, but I will say one thing. We're announcing today that we're going to extend our employee pricing through July 4th.
Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 diesel-powered F-Series trucks. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the vehicle's fuel pumps may fail and cause a loss of power, increasing the risk of a crash.
If you think you know how to buy a car in 2025, think again. Dealerships have gotten smarter, sneakier, and more aggressive than ever before. What used to be a simple purchase has turned into a minefield of hidden fees, tricky upsells, and psychological traps you probably don't even see coming. In this video, we're exposing 10 hidden car buying hacks that dealership salesmen hope you never figure out, because once you know these, you'll never get played again. Let's get into it. This financing trick could trap you in a 7-year payment nightmare. Most drivers don't realize this, but dealerships make more money on the loan than they do on the car itself. The car might have a sticker price of $27,000, but that's just the beginning of their hustle. What the salesperson is trained to do is immediately steer you toward monthly payments. They'll say things like, "How much are you hoping to pay each month?" And just like that, they've already won, because now they're no longer negotiating price, they're negotiating time. If you say something like, "I'd like to keep it under $400, they'll quietly extend the loan term to 72 months or even 84 months to meet your monthly goal. And guess what? Over those extra years, the dealership's finance department is racking up thousands more in interest. You might think you got a great monthly payment, but over time, you're losing. Big time. Even worse, they often partner with subprime lenders who don't care how long the loan goes, as long as they collect. Some buyers don't even realize they're paying 8% or more in interest, and by year 5, they owe more than the car is worth. That's how people end up trapped in the dreaded upside down loan. The worst part, some dealerships deliberately inflate your interest rate by 1 or 2 percentage points even if you qualify for better rates, just so they can pocket the difference from the lender as a kickback. It's called dealer reserve, and it's totally legal. They won't show it to you unless you ask to see the official lender offer. Most people never do. If you're not walking into that dealership pre-approved from your bank or credit union, you've already lost. They know they can manipulate your expectations, upsell you, and milk every possible dime over time. And once you're locked into that 7-year trap, good luck trading in or refinancing without more fees or penalties. Dealerships hide this fee in plain sight, and it's not negotiable unless you ask. Here's the dirty secret about documentation fees. Almost every dealership charges them, but none of them are required by law to be as high as they are. You'll usually find this little gem tucked into your final paperwork with a label like doc fee, processing fee, or administrative fee. Sounds harmless, right? Not so fast. This fee is supposed to cover the cost of preparing your paperwork, but in reality, it's pure profit. Some states cap it, others don't. In places like Florida or Georgia, this so-called processing fee can be over $1,000. And the kicker? Most customers think they can't do anything about it because it's listed in the paperwork as non-negotiable. But here's the hack. Dealers won't remove the fee, but they will lower the price of the vehicle to compensate if you ask for it early enough. You've got to be smart about it though. If you wait until the final signing table to bring it up, the finance manager will shrug and say it's locked in. But if you ask during the sales negotiation and say, "Okay, but I want $500 off to cover your doc fee," they often say yes just to keep the deal alive. And here's another trick they use. Some dealerships advertise ultra low prices online to beat their competitors on AutoTrader or Cars.com. But when you show up, they tack on ridiculous fees to get the price back up. This practice is called price packing, and it's legal because technically the fees are disclosed. But unless you know to ask about them up front, you're walking into a trap. Even worse, some of them double charge for destination fees. Once from the manufacturer and once from the dealership. That's hundreds of dollars you could easily avoid with one question. Can I see the itemized out the door price with every single fee included? If they resist giving it to you, that's your cue to walk. Why do we dealers push trade-ins so hard, and how they use yours against you? This one gets people every single day. Salespeople love it when you walk in with a trade-in, not because they want to help you offload your old car, but because it gives them a second transaction to manipulate, while distracting you from what really matters, the price of the car you're buying. Here's what they do. They ask you about your trade-in before you've even settled on a final price for the new vehicle. Sounds harmless, but it's a classic misdirection tactic. Let's say your trade-in is worth $10,000 and the car you're buying is listed at $25,000. A sneaky salesman will offer you $12,000 for your trade-in and raise the price of the new car to $27,000. You think you're getting a great deal, but you just got robbed blind. They play with the numbers so you feel like you're winning somewhere, but in reality, they're just moving dollars around to hide the real profit. If you don't know the fair value of your trade-in before you walk in, you're at their mercy. Kelley Blue Book and Edmunds can help, but even then, dealers will lowball you, especially if they think you're desperate or upside down on your loan. And here's where it gets even dirtier. Some dealerships will make you feel like you have to trade in your old car to get special pricing. This is especially common with internet deals or manufacturer incentives. What they don't tell you is that these incentives often don't actually require a trade-in. It's just a pressure tactic to lock you in. The smartest move? Get a trade-in quote from places like CarMax or Carvana before you visit the dealership. That way, you walk in knowing your bottom dollar and can use it to either negotiate or walk away. Never ever let the salesperson talk numbers until the value of your trade-in and the price of the new car are negotiated completely separately. And don't fall for the "we'll pay off your loan no matter what" trick. That just means they'll roll your remaining loan balance into your new loan, adding thousands in interest and dragging you deeper into debt. This certified pre-owned trick isn't what you think it is. Certified pre-owned, 3 words that sound comforting, right? Like you're getting something nearly new, thoroughly inspected, and backed by the manufacturer. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most certified pre-owned CPO programs are glorified marketing gimmicks, and dealerships exploit the label to slap a fat markup on cars that are barely better than your average used vehicle. Let's break it down. When you buy a certified pre-owned car, you're told it's passed a 100+ point inspection. Sounds rigorous, but most drivers don't realize those checklists are often vague and vary wildly depending on the brand and dealership. Some inspections include things like air freshener smells okay or trunk light operational. In other words, superficial stuff that sounds impressive on paper but doesn't actually protect you from future breakdowns or expensive repairs. And get this, many dealerships perform those inspections themselves. That's right, there's no third-party watchdog making sure everything is truly up to standard. The same people who stand to profit from selling you the car are the ones vouching for its quality. That's like letting a student grade their own final exam. Even worse, some manufacturers allow previously rental vehicles into their CPO programs. These are cars that have been driven hard by dozens of different people, often with little concern for mechanical sympathy. A former rental car with 20,000 miles and a fresh detailing job can pass as certified under the right brand's lax requirements, and the dealership will gladly charge you $2,000 to $3,000 more for it. Then there's the warranty, arguably the biggest selling point. CPO warranties are often limited to certain parts or a very short time frame unless you pay extra for an extended version. For example, some brands only offer powertrain coverage that starts from the original in-service date. That means if the car is 3 years old and the powertrain warranty was originally 5 years, you're only getting 2 years of actual coverage. And what happens when you bring the car in under that warranty? Well, if the issue is remotely wear and tear related, like brakes, shocks, or even certain engine components, the warranty won't cover it. Suddenly, that peace of mind you thought you were buying turns into a stack of unexpected repair bills. If you're considering CPO, always ask for the inspection checklist and who performed it. Then cross-reference that with the specific warranty booklet, not the sales brochure, but the actual terms. That's where you'll see what's excluded, when coverage starts, and how long it really lasts. If the dealer dances around giving you those documents, walk away. You're not getting a guarantee, you're getting a gamble on the monthly payment trap you didn't see coming. Let's talk about the oldest trick in the dealership playbook, the monthly payment obsession. From the second you walk in, salespeople are trained to ask some version of the question, what monthly payment are you looking for? It sounds innocent, like they're trying to tailor the car to your budget, but it's a trap, and one most people fall right into. Here's how it works. Instead of negotiating based on the actual price of the car, the dealer shifts the conversation to your comfort zone. Let's say you say around $450 a month. That gives the dealership a blank check to manipulate the length of the loan, interest rate, and car price to match that number, while stacking thousands of hidden profits in the background. They might quote you a great monthly rate, but stretch the loan to 84 months and add in multiple extras, like prepaid maintenance, paint protection, VIN etching, and inflated gap insurance. You get the payment you asked for, but now you're in a 7-year commitment paying for stuff you didn't even know was optional. And here's the shady part. They love when you say yes to a longer term. Not only does it lower your monthly cost on paper, but it lets them sneak in more fees without raising any red flags. The longer the term, the more interest they make, and the more back-end products they can bundle in without triggering sticker shock. Let's do the math. A $30,000 car financed over 60 months at 4.5% interest costs you about $560 a month. Stretch it to 84 months at 6%, and you're at $444 a month, right where you wanted. But over the life of that loan, you've now paid over $7,000 more in interest. And if the car breaks down or gets totaled halfway through, you still owe more than it's worth. The solution? Refuse to talk monthly payments at all. When they ask, say, I'm focused on the total purchase price, not the monthly payment. Lock down that price first, then bring in your own financing terms from a bank or credit union. If they try to play games, that's your cue to walk. Remember, dealerships can manipulate a monthly payment a dozen different ways, but they can't lie about the total price if you keep the conversation laser focused. Don't get hypnotized by a number that feels affordable while they rob you blind with the fine print. Number 6. Why extended warranties are the dealership's favorite scam. You've made it through the haggling, you've signed the paperwork, and you're ready to drive off, but not so fast. Now you enter the F&I room, finance and insurance, where the real profits are made. And the star of that room? The extended warranty. It sounds like a smart investment until you see what it really covers. Here's the truth. Most dealerships sold extended warranties are overpriced insurance products with tons of exclusions and limited value. They're designed to sound comprehensive, with phrases like bumper-to-bumper coverage or platinum protection. But when you actually file a claim, that's when the fine print kicks in, and most of the time, it works against you. A common tactic is bundling the extended warranty into your loan without telling you. The finance manager will say, this adds only $30 a month to your payment, but spread over 72 months, that's over $2,000. Often more than you'd ever spend on actual repairs during the coverage period. And if you read the contract carefully, you'll see exclusions for wear and tear, electrical systems, gaskets, hoses, and even labor in some cases. Here's what they don't tell you. Third-party warranties often deny claims for pre-existing conditions, which means if your water pump fails and they determine the problem started before you bought the warranty, even if it wasn't obvious, you're out of luck. And manufacturers' extended warranties? They're better, but still filled with hoops to jump through, like requiring you to get all service done at specific dealerships or else voiding the policy. And guess what? The person selling you that warranty gets a fat commission. It's one of the biggest profit centers in the building, and they'll throw every scare tactic at you. What if your transmission fails in year 4? Or this covers rental car costs too. But when you actually need it, you find out the deductible is $500 and they won't cover diagnostics. If you're considering one, shop around for third-party coverage from reputable providers outside the dealership, and always ask for a sample contract before you sign anything. If they refuse or give you vague answers about what's covered, walk. An honest product doesn't need to hide behind pressure tactics and last-minute upsells. The truth about dealer, add-ons, and why they're borderline fraud. This one's wild, and it happens way more often than you'd think. You find a car online, see the price, and show up at the dealership ready to buy. But when you get to the paperwork, the price is suddenly $1,500 higher. Why? Dealer installed options, they say. Things like nitrogen filled tires, paint protection, door edge guards, or my personal favorite, VIN etching. Let's be clear, almost none of these add-ons are worth the price, and many are flat out junk. Nitrogen in tires, scientifically it barely holds pressure longer than air, and it's free at Costco. Paint protection, that's just a $10 wax job. VIN etching, you can get that done yourself for less than $30, yet dealerships charge hundreds for each of these and won't let you remove them. Some dealers even preload these add-ons on every vehicle on the lot, then tell you it's already installed, we can't take it off. What they really mean is, they want to guilt you into paying for something you never asked for, and in many cases, they won't budge, even if you threaten to walk. But here's the hack: you can refuse to pay for them. If the dealer won't remove the charge, ask for a comparable vehicle that doesn't have the add-ons, or call ahead and confirm whether the price includes any dealer-installed equipment. If they won't give you a clean price up front, find a dealership that will. Even more sketchy, some add-ons are just digital, like GPS activation or remote start unlock fees. The car already has the hardware, but the dealer charges $300 to $500 just to flip the switch. That's not just shady, it's exploitative. Don't fall for the everyone gets these line. You're not obligated to pay for anything you didn't agree to. If it wasn't in your signed purchase agreement, it's fair game for negotiation or rejection. And if they insist on charging you for it anyway, it's time to walk out. This market adjustment fee is pure greed and totally optional. Let's talk about one of the boldest ripoffs in the modern car game, the market adjustment fee. If you've shopped for a car anytime in the last few years, especially during supply shortages, you've probably seen it, sometimes labeled as additional dealer markup or ADM on the window sticker. It's basically a fat surcharge, often thousands of dollars, added on top of the MSRP for no reason other than because we can. Dealerships try to justify it by saying demand is high and supply is low. And yes, during the height of the chip shortage or peak pandemic chaos, there was some truth to that. But today, in 2025, a lot of those supply chain issues have stabilized, yet the markup madness continues, especially for popular models like the Toyota Tacoma, Ford Bronco, or any electric vehicle with hype. The dirty truth is that market adjustment isn't based on any manufacturer cost or added value. It's just pure dealer profit. It's like walking into a grocery store and being told your loaf of bread is $10 because someone else might want it more. Most buyers don't know they can push back or assume it's not negotiable because it's printed on the window. But guess what? That number is completely made up. And in many cases, salespeople are instructed to test how far they can go with it. Some will start at $5,000 over MSRP and negotiate down depending on your pushback. Others use it to trick buyers into thinking they're lucky if it's only $2,000 over sticker. It's an artificial pressure tactic, plain and simple. And here's the worst part: they'll wrap that markup into your loan, making it seem like a small increase in your monthly payment, when in reality, you're paying interest on thousands of dollars of nothing. Imagine paying $3,500 extra for literally zero added features, no warranty, no performance boost, just dealer greed. If you see a market adjustment fee, don't just accept it. Ask them to remove it, or at least match it with actual accessories or extended warranties of real value. If they refuse, call other dealerships in neighboring cities. Many will match or beat the price to earn your business. And if none of them will, consider waiting a few weeks or looking at a slightly different trim. You have leverage, especially if you come pre-approved, know the invoice price, and aren't emotionally attached to a specific model. The buyers who get fleeced are the ones who have to have it now. So if you can be patient and firm, you can dodge this shady fee entirely and save thousands. This insurance scheme happens right before you sign and costs you big. Now let's talk about another trick that gets slipped in right at the finish line. You've negotiated your deal, haggled over financing, and you're ready to sign. But before handing over the keys, the finance manager casually mentions, "We added some protection plans for peace of mind, just a few extra dollars per month." That's your red flag. What they're really adding is aftermarket insurance products. Things like tire and wheel protection, key replacement, dent repair, or even something called credit life insurance, which pays off your car if you die or become disabled. Sounds thoughtful, right? Until you realize they're charging you hundreds, sometimes thousands for something you didn't ask for, and often don't need. These products are high commission add-ons that exist solely to inflate dealership profits. Most drivers already have comprehensive auto insurance that covers things like roadside assistance, towing, and even total loss. But the finance office won't tell you that. They'll just roll the cost into your monthly payment and hope you don't notice the spike. Even worse, some dealerships don't even tell you the items are optional. You sign 20 pages of documents in a rush, and buried in the middle is a $995 theft protection plan that's basically a hidden sticker placed on your windshield, one that cost the dealer maybe $10. You just paid nearly $1,000 for something you didn't authorize, and the worst part is it's hard to remove once financing is locked. And let's say you discover the extra charges later and call to complain. Many dealerships will blame the finance system or say it's already been processed by the lender and can't be undone. That's not always true, but they count on your frustration and confusion to avoid issuing refunds. The move here? Ask for a complete itemized breakdown of every product being added to your deal before you sign. Then ask plainly, is this required to finance the vehicle? Spoiler alert, it's not. Every single product in that stack of papers is optional, no matter how they spin it. Protect yourself by slowing the process down and reading everything. You're not being difficult, you're being smart. And in most cases, just showing that you know these extras are padded profit will make the finance manager back off and start offering discounts or removing them altogether. The real reason dealerships push gap insurance, and when you should refuse it. Gap insurance sounds like a no-brainer, right? It covers the difference between what you owe on your car and what your insurance pays if the vehicle is totaled. And in theory, it can be helpful, especially if you financed a new car with little or no down payment. But dealerships have turned Gap into one of the biggest profit machines in the finance office. Here's how. The actual cost of a Gap policy from a reputable insurer or credit union is usually between $200 to $400, but dealerships regularly charge $800 to $1,200. And they don't tell you that cheaper options exist. Why would they? They're pocketing hundreds in pure profit per deal. Even worse, some finance managers won't even mention the price. They'll just say, it's included in your loan to protect you. Sounds official, right? Until you realize it's optional and massively overpriced. By the time you see it buried in the contract, it's already been rolled into your financing, where you'll pay interest on it for years. Gap isn't bad, it's the way it's sold. That's the problem. In many cases, your existing auto insurer offers Gap as an add-on for pennies per day, or your credit union includes it for free if you finance through them, but the dealership won't tell you any of that. They rely on your anxiety, fear of loss, and limited information to upsell you. Another shady tactic, some dealers require GAP to qualify for certain financing terms, especially if you're rolling over negative equity from a trade-in. They'll say things like, our lender requires Gap coverage, but in most cases, that's just a strong suggestion, not a mandate. Always ask the lender directly. So when should you actually consider GAP? If you're financing more than the car is worth, say with little or no down payment, or you're driving a model that depreciates fast in its first year, like many luxury or electric cars, it might be worth it, but don't buy it at the dealership unless you've compared prices elsewhere first. And if they've already added it to your loan without your permission, demand it be removed and reprinted. You have that right. Don't let them pressure you into signing away your cash. There you have it, 10 hidden car buying hacks that dealership salesmen pray you never figure out. These aren't just tips, they're tools of defense against an industry built on distractions, pressure, and psychological tricks. But now, you're armed, you know the traps, and next time you step onto that dealership lot, you'll be the one in control. So let me ask you, which one of these hacks surprised you the most? And what shady dealership trick have you encountered before? Let us know in the comments. Your story might help someone else avoid getting ripped off.